Hey, you got Bruce the Weathered Soul here on the Weathered Soul podcast. How you guys doing tonight? We are here live with you every Monday night on the WSLN Weathered Soul Liberty Network, and we are here again. It's 7 o'clock, and there is DJ Dougie on the other side looking down. He's giving you a peace sign and everything, and his lovely little smile. And how you doing, Dougie, today?
Good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so we're here every Monday night. This is me and Dougie's little Zoom call that we get to do every Monday night just to entertain you guys. We love you here, and it's apparent by the fact that you guys have been watching us on YouTube. We thank you for all your support. We had a couple of brand new subscribers. We had Josh Forsyth, who has been one of our guests before, finally subscribed, and Donna, I know you're out there. And I love you, honey. She's my what do they call that? Celestial twin. She was born the same day in the same hospital.
Wow.
The whole thing. And she's my twin, and I love her out there. And thumbs up, Donna, for subscribing. And you can subscribe too. And all you have to do is go to the WSLN network over on YouTube. You can go in, you can subscribe anytime. I'll put the little blurb up there. There you go. The Weathered Soul every Monday. Subscribe to the WSLN YouTube channel. So go up there, and if you're live right now, hit subscribe, hit like, hit that little bell up there that tells you when we go on the air. I've got several podcasts that I do during the week. This is the only one that DJ Dougie is live with, and so you can see his pretty face every Monday night here. And I know that's really the reason why you guys tune in, is to see Dougie.
The only reason why I tune in.
Well, I'm trying to use these earbuds, man. This is the first time I use the earbuds. I just yanked them out of my.
Oh, that happens.
My ears. I hate it.
Are you using the mic on the earbuds or a stand mic?
No. I'm using my regular M5 mic right now. I haven't used the mic on there yet. So, but we're try something different. The reason why I did that is because my friend John Odermatt from the Lions of Liberty podcast, of course, because they are my good friends. And if you guys ever have a chance, get over to the Lions of Liberty podcast. They got 3 excellent freaking podcasts during the week. They got the flagship one on Monday nights or on Mondays, which is the Lions of Liberty podcast. You got Electric Liberty Land with Brian McWilliams, and he's on Wednesday. It's a funny look at what's going on. And then you've got Felony Fridays with John Odermatt, and they sent me a Make Liberty Great Again hat, which is one of the hats that you can get over at their website. And I just really appreciate John Odermatt for sending me that, and all the guys at Lions of Liberty who think that the Weathered Soul podcast is the #1 podcast in the world. I really don't know if they know that or not, but that's what I say. What do you think, Dougie? I think we're the #1 podcast, and at least on our street, right?
We're the #1 podcast that I'm participating in. That's for sure.
It's so great. But you get to tune in here every week at 7 o'clock. We're going to be here doing this podcast. And it's just a great podcast. We just started doing our audio podcasts again. We are on Libsyn.com. You can go to the Weathered Soul podcast .libsyn.com. You can get us there. You can get us on any of your podcatchers. Please go to iTunes and just give us a. Please leave us a 5-star review. Leave us a nasty comment. Leave us a question. Leave us a comment. Leave us a sad face. Just let us know somebody out there is listening on the interwebs. We would love you to be there. And that's just another thing that we got going on. We also have the Weathered Soul podcast Facebook group that you can get on, and all you have to do is go over to the Weathered Soul podcast site. Just type that into your Facebook group or your Facebook search engine right there, and it'll take you right there. And then I've been doing a thing called the morning drive. So if you want to tune in live with me between 7 and 8 o'clock, I do a bit called the morning drive. It's a real short 5-minute, hey, how you doing type of podcast. And it's just real short and sweet. Either I got up grumpy or I got up great or whatever. You're going to hear it. The guy that sideswipe me on the way getting out the door, or whatever the case may be. You're going to hear about it on the morning drive with yours truly, Bruce, the weathered soul. Begin your day with a smiling face. Just go over to WSLN to get all the info. How you doing, Doug? How's your weekend, buddy?
Oh, long and boring, man.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's up?
So glad it's Monday. But I didn't have to work today.
No?
No.
After the rain we got, I mean, all this torrential rain that we've been thinking about.
Oh, yeah.
I got on my, oh, this is what I wanted to do. Exactly what I wanted to do. This is how I wanted to lead in.
Uh-oh.
Well, my weekend consisted of, because my wife has been beating me over the head every day almost for the rest of my life, is that she wanted to know what all my passwords and logins and everything of all my information that I have on the internet. And I'm a transparent guy, so I don't have a problem with that. But I really kind of when you think about it and you think about your online presence and the footprint that you have, especially me. I mean, I've got a footprint, bigger than I thought it was. So yeah, basically what happened was back in, we took our first trip to Hawaii when we were about, what was it? Probably 4 or 5 years ago now. We took our first trip. We finally felt comfortable leaving Anthony with his sister and his grandmother, and we ended up going to Hawaii for a weekend. Actually, it was a very short time, and me and my wife flew over there. But before we left, we left a letter, an emergency letter, just in case something happened to us. And in that letter, it had instructions of what to do, where our will was, how to find out this, how to find out that. And at that time, the list of stuff that I had going on was not that big. And so, I put all my passwords down to my bank accounts and my logins and stuff like that. And I never really much thought about it at all. And then we got back from Hawaii, and everything was good. Got the note back out and put it back in the safe, and away I went. Well, Tracy has never been really a big tech giant, so she's never really been one of those persons that really gets on the internet or anything like that. And she barely gets on the computer, but she always wants to know, what's the account balance in the bank and stuff like that. I mean, I take care of all the finances and everything in the house, and she just kind of takes care of the house and stuff. She's a homebody. She took care of Anthony when he was alive, every day of his life. So she was quite busy. She really didn't have a lot of time to be on the internet, but she also wanted to know, just in case something happened to me, she needs all the information that she can get, to be able to access that stuff on the internet. So that's what I did this weekend. Usually every year at this time, I go and I change every single one of my passwords. Wow. Man, did I have a lot of passwords? I can't believe how many passwords I've got.
Oh, God,
but
yeah.
It is just one of those things where you just really don't realize how many passwords that you have. I ended up at the end of it with 7 pages of passwords, of websites, of everything you can imagine. And I mean, there was only maybe 2 pages that were really, quote important pages that you'll need to get to. I've got 3 or 4 businesses going on. I've got my financials and stuff like that. So that filled up about 2 pages. But when I went and did everything, my whole freaking footprint on the internet, every one of them, every single one of them now has a different password, because you can never be too safe about getting hacked. And every day you hear about, some site got hacked into, millions of addresses and stuff got hacked into, and you got to be on top of that stuff. And you know what? And the bad part about it is that you don't hear about it until 6 months later. you hear about it finally, and then by that time they probably got your info already, so it doesn't matter. But be prepared. I mean, it's really kind of easy to do a password, that you can, I'm not going to give my secret out, but really, if you're smart enough, you can figure out how to give your sites each a password that you can use that's unique to every site, because you don't want to use the same password to every site that you have. And
you could just do random keystrokes.
And you can just do random keystrokes too, but you gotta
ones I love. I have to connect my customers' solar power monitoring systems up to their networks.
Right.
And you can hardwire it. You can do Wi-Fi. Zigbee. There's 100 different ways to do it, right? But a lot of times I need the router password. And some of these people, they have router passwords that are like 12 pages long. Right. I mean, really, like 75 characters. It's like, come on. Really, just a clever little thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's one place that I just said, screw it. I'm going back to paper bills. And I want to take a big salute out for the most secure freaking website. And let me tell you, if you can hack into this website, you could play this bill every freaking year if you want to. I don't care. But Recology, I'm going back to paper bills with you guys, because I lost my password, number one. First of all, I couldn't even retrieve my password because they wouldn't accept any kind of the security things that I ever done. And I don't have time to make freaking phone calls to customer service to have them put me on hold or whatever they do. My time is a lot more better, a lot more useful than that. So I tried to log in with a set up a different account. No, they wouldn't let me do that. Then once I was able to set up a new account and go through everything, I got everything right. And then they said I still couldn't do it. So
you're going to get double billed.
I spent an hour and a half. I spent truly an hour and a half trying to get on this website, and to no avail. It didn't happen for me. And I just went, forget it. That's it. And you know what? Basically, really, Recology always gets their bills like late to me. I mean, because I can't get on their website. Every time I log in, I need to do that single pay option, and type in all your stuff all the time. Just forget it. It's just crazy. So no more with Recology. But they've got a super secure website, so I don't know what they're using.
What we do to keep things, in control is we have a little phone book.
Yeah.
Like a address book.
Right.
And we put all of our passwords in there alphabetically according to the the app.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised. I mean, it's got hundreds of them in there.
Yeah. It's amazing how many freaking passwords and logins and
but it's good to have, passwords that things, accounts that have been set up for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like you say, like bill pay apps and stuff like that.
Oh, man.
Or, Amazon apps
right.
Every time you buy a computer and you want to load Google, you got to get another Gmail address. Oh, that one's already taken. Yeah, but that's my Gmail address. Oh, you can't use that one. It's already taken. Yeah, but that's my Gmail address. Oh, fuck yeah, I'll make another one.
I've gone through too many times where I've gone to actually websites I haven't been in a long time, and I had to, number one, change my login, and I had to change my password, and the succession of times that they ping me on my phone for some kind of freaking passcode to get back in, and it was just one of those days where I just turned on the football games, grabbed a beer, and just started going and just did it, and finally got it done. But really, guys, one of the big security things that you should do at the first of the year is actually go out there and change all your passwords and get that stuff up to date. Make sure you've got an emergency plan, so if you got a spouse or somebody that's depending on you or anything like that, it's always nice to have that emergency letter ready for you, and get that ready, get that done. Put it in a drawer, put it in a safe, put it, where it's going to be secure. Because you never know. You never know. Because these days with COVID, these days of going outside and you just never know what's going to happen. I mean,
don't forget where you put your safe deposit box keys.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when your bank moves, they're going to want them back.
Yeah. But you never know when you're going to be involved in a multiple shooting like we had in Gilroy this weekend. We had a multiple shooting in Gilroy, just right around the corner from you there, Doug. You live in the Crenshaw of Gilroy now. Did you know that?
Yeah, I guess so, man.
Yeah, so multiple shootings leave one man dead and another in critical condition. A rash of gunfire over the weekend left one man dead and another seriously injured. Gilroy police reported, according to police, that 35-year-old man was killed after he was shot on the 400 block of Fairview Drive, which is not very far from us. It's probably less than a mile from us. And let me see. And the victim was not, on January 3rd at 9:30 p.m. The victim, who has not been identified, was transported to a local trauma center where he was pronounced dead. On January 2nd, just before 9 p.m., Gilroy police officers and Gilroy fire personnel medics responded to the intersection of Santa Teresa Boulevard and Mantelli Drive, where they found the driver of a vehicle who had been shot. A 21-year-old man was transported to the local trauma center and remains in critical conditions to this day. The first shooting happened. Actually, the two shootings that happened on Fairview. So that tells you right there something's going down, and you got to feel that that what happened, right around the corner from us on the intersection, had to probably be of the same nature. So, us around here in Gilroy, we're kind of used to Sheriff Lori Smith and her famous gang roundups, and they haven't had one of those in a while. So the violence has been kind of escalating here in Gilroy. I'm a little bit concerned about it, but I'm all for that. I mean, I love liberty and freedom, but I'm all for a good old gang roundup every once in a while to get the riffraff out of here, try to get a purge going on, So.
Well, doesn't that kind of interfere with their liberty to be riffraff?
I draw the line at some things, man. I have to.
Either you're for liberty or you're not.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not going to pull a gun on you, man. I'm not going to pull a gun.
No, I mean, I would love to use that as a topic some night, though, to discuss what liberty means to different people and
I think liberty
things like that, because I think it's an important thing.
I think liberty and freedom mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Yeah, they do.
And I think, and I think it's a really open discussion, and I'm all willing to do that. Well, we do that on a different podcast. We do that on what we call Bruce for Liberty, and I might have Dougie on my show every once in a while just to come in and give his insight on what's going on with his liberty.
So where's Fairview?
Fairview is behind, like the burger shop that you told me to go to on 10th Street, or excuse me, on 10th Street. But 10th Street, off of 10th Street, across from the high school, just down from the high school, across from the trailer park back in.
Yeah, that's all right. That's what I thought. Yeah,
about one street back or something like that. So you guys are getting a local flavor here. That we're just talking about a little local stuff. And like I said, I want to welcome you guys to the Weather Soul podcast. Because here we are.
What I was going to say is, Gilroy used to have a pretty good community service officer with the police department who set up block watches and block associations, things like that. And I know that down there, in that area, 8th Street, going from Monterey, all the way up to, I don't know, maybe Miller, at least Church anyway, maybe a little farther north or farther west. Strong block association there. It's, really good community stuff, and I don't even know if it exists anymore.
I don't know, but they still have the no cruising signs. I know that.
Yeah.
Were you back here when they used to? Did you live here back when they used to cruise Gilroy? Because I never used to cruise Gilroy. I mean, I
used to cruise. Yeah,
I'm a cruiser from way back. I mean, I used to cruise First Street in San Jose and Campbell and Los Gatos and Santa Clara. But I never cruised.
We didn't really cruise. We kind of, there was a park, right? The park had a main strip in it that kind of, connected all the ball fields and had some off strips to go to buildings and stuff. So we would park on that main strip, and you drive up and down to see friends and whatever, get a beer,
get
a joint. Yeah.
Well, from what I hear from Abby,
then you park again.
Yeah,
and
from what I hear from your wife is that you were quite the rebel rouser. So I can imagine.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about like Friday night in the summer where you just want to hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a cruiser from way back. I used to cruise with a friend of mine, Steve, and his Camaro, and we used to go down to San Jose First Street, and man, it was happening back then. Back in 1976.
Mm-hmm.
76, 77, 78. Those were some wild times, man.
But yeah, I mean, it was never like a parade of cars going in a circle.
Oh no, we had
anything like that.
Oh man, we had the car clubs and everything out there, dude. They had all kinds of different ones. Okay, so they had First Street, which was usually all the hot rods and stuff would go down there, and then they had King Road, King and Story, where all the lowriders and stuff hang out. And there was an intermixing sometimes in between, but not much. But yeah, the hot rod, you would have the GTO clubs, you could have the Camaro clubs and the El Caminos and all that, all the clubs that be down there, and it was just, oh man, just what a time to be alive, man. Just all the muscle cars.
Entirely different culture than the East Coast.
Just
yeah, entirely different culture.
It was totally crazy. I mean, I remember just disassembling the big speakers in my stereo, putting them in the back of my car, big, huge, as big as I could get them, put them in the back of the car and hook them suckers up to your stereo. And that's how you would cruise. I mean,
with the trunk open?
No. You put them in the back seat.
Oh, okay.
You have your windows down there. You had no room for anybody. You were out there picking up chicks, but you had no. Some of us who didn't have the cool sound system had to do that. So some of our guys, some of our friends had cooler sound systems and a lot cooler cars than I had. So
yeah, I think that's pretty cool sound system.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't too I don't know what they call suave in my mom's B210. So
cool.
And I never had the permission to drive it. So don't ever tell her that. I used to cruise First Street in her car.
Good thing she doesn't watch this.
That's all right. I took it around the San Jose Mile too. We broke in one time into the back of the fairgrounds, and we joyrided on the San Jose Mile track, and it was fantastic.
Good. Yeah, that must have been fun. Never did anything like that.
It was fantastic.
For us, cruising was like, get a couple of cases of beer or a small keg of beer and throw it in the back seat and have four guys, and then just drive around the back roads where you figure the chance of running into a cop are very small.
Right.
And you'd never see anybody else. I mean, if back then it was like, dial phones. Right, so where are you going tonight? I'm going to go drive around Newtown. Where do you want to meet? Oh, let's meet at Ball Pond at 7:30. Cool. Then you hang out there for a while till you figure your odds are getting, your odds are getting against you. So we better move now. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, it was definitely some wild times, and definitely the cultures were different in different places and stuff like that. I was in Texas for a while, and the culture was kind of different there. Everybody had trucks and all that stuff, so that was the big thing there, and it was pretty cool. But I'll put on another hat here that I got. This is from Plexus, and if anybody knows anything about me right now, then Bruce Weathered Soul, it is that I belong to a organization called Plexus, and I am now one of the men of Plexus because I have a hat now, which is going to be my new golf hat. And if you guys want to know about plant-based supplements and probiotics, by all means, please give me a ring and let me know. And you can just type in Bruce Weathered Soul in the Facebook group. Get a hold of me. I can turn you guys on to something that is just going to be incredible for your wellness at this point in time. And an ounce of what they say is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And right now, I think we can all use a pound of cure. And one of the things that we can do is take care of our bodies. And whether you go with me with Plexus and the products that I serve, or you just go on your own and do something, please start thinking about your health, because we just like I said before, we just had elected Nancy Pelosi to the House of Representatives to be Speaker of the House again. And in my opinion, this is my opinion only, and this is an opinion that's held by a lot of people that do not like the Democratic Party and do not like the Republican Party either. A lot of progressives a lot of true progressives are very upset right now about the fact that Nancy Pelosi won her seat again. She ran unopposed, so it was pretty much a slam dunk for her. But all the progressives, all the squad, the super progressive socialist people that were railing against her, all fell into line. And you could pretty much put a silver stake in the heart of Medicare for all. I mean, because I listen to Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is one of my favorite podcasts. I'm a libertarian, but let me tell you, I'm quite a bit of progressive, and I think that Medicare for all has its place. I think if it gets implemented, I don't think that private insurance should go away. But at the same token, I think that that Medicare for all is very important to people. But Nancy Pelosi, through her career, has been against it, and you've got another term of her being able to block that situation. In fact, she had a chance to vote on a Medicare for all vote a couple of days ago. She wouldn't even bring it to the floor. And if you want any more information on that, I'll point you over to the Jimmy Dore show. He's just a jack-off comedian who smokes weed in his freaking garage and does a podcast just like us, but he's a lot more well-informed with a lot more different freaking people, like who's that, Bob Blumenthal, who got fired from MSNBC or CNN for telling the truth. And he's got a lot of reporters that he is befriended a lot that really tell like it is on the progressive movement. And you might not like the fact that I think that Medicare for all is probably something whose time has come, but apparently the establishment is a lot more powerful than anybody thought it was. And Donald Trump found that out, and then he became quickly a part of the establishment. And I think anybody else that really gets into power really just starts being establishment after a while. And progressives would be no different, but we do need some policies changed. And like I said, me and Dougie can talk all day about what liberty is and what freedom is, but there's a lot of things that our country should be doing for us, and our tax dollars are just not going to where I believe that they're supposed to go. And I think Dougie can even agree with me on that. So it's one of those things that unfortunately you're not going to get. So I think the last chance that you guys have is and I really don't care, because you tell you the truth, I don't give a shit about Georgia. I don't give a shit about the Senate, and I don't give a shit about the Congress. But it's one of these things that I do rail on. Whether or not Georgia goes red or blue really doesn't matter to me. There's a lot of things that the Congress does that does affect our lives. Unlike the president, who a lot of things that he does doesn't affect our lives, but the Congress does. But it's been proven over and over, just because you have a supermajority in any type of government doesn't mean that all of a sudden all your stuff gets done. So, good luck in Georgia. Whoever kind of wins that whole thing. And it's just kind of a clusterfuck if you ask me about it, but that's just the way I look. Any rebuttal on that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know you do.
If you have somebody that's just, I don't know, I'm going to just say, when Mitch McConnell said to us when Obama was elected that his only goal in life is to make sure this president gets absolutely nothing done, it was not good for you or me. It was bad for us. Even when Obama played games and presented the same exact bills that the Republicans had published, and McConnell rejected them, wasn't doing you and me any good. And it didn't do any Republicans any good either.
No.
Right? Okay. So I would like to see, at least for the next 2 years, what the Democrats can do. And the only way I'll be able to see that is if they win the Georgia election. So that makes it kind of important to me.
Yeah. I don't give a shit about it, really. I mean, to me, it just it's
proven to me. You deserve what you get, and you don't have a right to complain then.
Yeah, I do. Sure, I do.
No,
I voted.
If you don't give a shit, don't give a shit. don't give a shit and then complain about it because you don't give a shit. Remember?
Hold on. Put your cheek up there.
Right? If you don't give a shit about it, don't give a shit about it. Stop flapping your lips. If you give a shit about it, say something.
Really, Dougie. I mean, let's face reality here. I mean, let's bring it back to earth. Is that anytime that anybody's had a majority, whether it be Republicans or Democrats, nobody has. I mean, it seems to even stall more. It really does. It even seems to stall more. Sometimes. And, a lot of people have told me, that's kind of a godsend. If you got a big government and, nothing gets done, that's probably a godsend. They're probably not fucking things up. So, but there are some things that really need to be done. And to me, I think that healthcare is one of them. I'm all for private healthcare. I'm all for the free market for private healthcare, but there is a swath of society that needs Medicare for all. And I'm not talking about insurance. I'm not talking about things like that. I'm talking about health coverage, health.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the hospital and you can't afford it, you truly can't afford it, then you should be taken care of. I mean, there's going to be certain.
Well, you are.
Well, I know you are.
You go to the hospital, you say, I don't have any money, and they still have to take care of you.
Yeah.
And then they can send you a bill, and you can laugh at them and say, what are you going to do? Take my 25-year-old car? Have a blast.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're done. And you get sick next week, you go back there and do the same thing. That's why our insurance rates are so high.
Well, that's why our insurance rates are so high, exactly. But I mean, in the same fact that because we've both been there with close people in our hearts on the way things go in the medical industry, and a lot of things aren't right, and a lot of things are just have to be crony capitalism. And I love capitalists. I love the capitalist system. And I think the free market is a great way to go. Unfortunately, what happens is those with the most money get up into Congress and then make the regulations against those who can not duly afford to be able to follow in those regulations. And therefore, an artificial barrier is put between their success and the success of the person that made the regulations. So when you get to be
how I feel about that. I mean, it's all about the Benjis.
Yeah, well, it is all
it's all about the Benjis.
It's all about the Benjis.
So the people who get into power have money. They're going to make laws to preserve their money and make money for their cronies.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's the way it works. That's just nature. I mean, that's nature. That happens in everything. From plant life on up to human life. That's the way it works. Whoever gets to the sun first gets to be biggest, and they block out the sun from everybody else, and then they don't get no bigger.
Moving on. Here we go. Hey, I wanted to talk to you, Doug, because you made a comment back about, 10 shows ago, something like that. You were talking about Bill Barr, and when Bill Barr was going to make a law that prohibited protesters from the sedition law. The sedition law. You've already heard me talk about this already. So, what did you think about that? Give us a summary on how you felt about that.
Well, I think that what he said is okay, because sedition is a bad thing. But who he was calling seditious, I completely disagreed with, and thought that they were just exhibiting their First Amendment rights and had every right to be doing what they were doing, and it wasn't seditious. And,
Got it.
And Barr was saying it is.
Okay.
But as far as being against sedition, I think that's okay.
Okay.
But I don't think that was what was going on there was sedition. Maybe it was. I don't think so.
Okay. So where my hand is, where my hand is.
You give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
I gotta let a tiger out the door because otherwise.
Let me tell you something. As Dougie is gone, it's a perfect time for me to go. Like, you know what's not Dougie? But anyway, I want to welcome you guys back to the Weather Soul podcast. We're here every Monday night, 7:00 here on the WSLN Weather Soul Liberty Network, and you can go to YouTube. And if you're there right now, hit that share button, hit that like button, hit that bell that says, "Hey, I want to hear when the Weather Soul podcast is on the air, when Bruce for Liberty podcast is on the air, when the Independent My Stomach podcast is on the air, and when you have the morning drive with Bruce, the Weather Soul, which happens every morning between 7 and 8 o'clock. Just kind of get in there and I will post that up and you can hear whatever you want to hear. But the reason why we're going to get back to our discussion, the reason why I want to ask that is because then you put Bill Barr, if this was the low spot and this was the high spot, where would you put Bill Barr?
What do you mean?
Where would you put him in your status?
In my status?
Yeah, your status. Here. Where would you put him in your status? Low here, high here.
Well, you're going down from the top of the top of the frame down to the bottom of the frame.
There we go.
Put your hand on the floor.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Put it on the floor.
All right. Okay. So now I'll ask you the next thing. So what do you think? Where would Governor Cuomo be in there?
Cuomo really is kind of insignificant to me because he's the governor of New York, a state that's 3,000 miles away from me, that has entirely different culture than what I live in, and entirely different politics, entirely different, law enforcement, culture, everything else. So I think that traditionally he's a pretty good governor, but he comes from a political family, right? His father was governor, that sort of stuff. Yeah. They've got a whole family. So that always makes you wonder, right. Was it qualification or was it, coattail riding? But I liked during the beginning of COVID how he was talking to everybody every day, even if a lot of what he was saying was just lip service. At least he was there. At least he was there acting concerned.
Okay. Well, here's his latest concern. So you may have heard of Bill A416, a proposed law in New York that would grant the governor the ability to imprison or deport anyone he deems to be a public health threat. Sedition.
What?
But it's actually worse than that. Not only does A416 give Cuomo the ability to detain and remove people without trial, appeal, or oversight, it also grant the power to anyone he wishes, including but not limited to the means, pretty much whoever he wants. This bill turns the governor into an overlord that can appoint anyone he wishes to remove whomever they wish, as long as they decide that the person is a threat. The reference to the clear and convincing evidence is a smokescreen because there is no due process here for them to prove it in court. Every person in New York can be ruled a threat. It isn't guilty until proven innocent. This is guilty with no chance to prove innocence. Republicans in Albany will complain, watch it pass, and then do nothing to get rid of it, just like every other bad law or regulation in New York.
What was the
This is Bill A114. The legislation, I'll bring up the website right now for you. The legislation is in the New York State Senate, Assembly Bill A416. And if you guys want to go look at that, it's in the
416. Yeah,
Assembly Bill A416. A as in asshole. It's a 2021-2022. I'll actually read some of it. It relates to the removal of cases and contacts and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to public health. and yeah, and it's just, it's how many, you got 167 lines of text. I don't want to read it all to you guys, but it's just something that Spike Cohen, the former vice presidential candidate, libertarian candidate, answered to today, and it's concerning, because basically I'm not a big truster of government, and I'm not a big truster of power. I don't like anybody having power over me to be able to claim my guilt before I am able to prove my innocence. And it seems to me that that kind of liberty is going away. When somebody's presented to be an overlord over somebody, that's a problem to me. And so on that note, we still have a large.
It's not the governor.
It's the state Senate. It's the Senate. It's the Senate.
No, but the power isn't to the governor. Cuomo isn't going to be walking around and bopping.
No. He has the ability.
Now you go home. Now you go home. Now you go home.
He has the ability to appoint a czar or whatever.
Utilize the event the governor declares a state of health emergency due to an epidemic of any communicable disease.
Mm-hmm.
Upon determination by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier, or suspected case, contact, or carrier of a contagious disease. You ever heard of Typhoid Mary?
I heard of Typhoid Mary. I remember she got arrested 4 or 5 times, wasn't she? Something like that.
Yeah, and she killed a whole bunch of people. Yeah. So this law is to take care of that. All right. He's not going to be going around saying, go back to Argentina.
So upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier of a suspected case of the contact carrier of a contagious disease that is in the opinion of the governor, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health, resulting in a severe morbidity or high mortality. The governor or her, what's that? Delegee, including but not limited to the commissions or the heads of local health departments, may order the removal and the order detention of such persons or a group of such persons, issuing a single order. It sounds pretty blanketing to me, and that's a problem. To me, it's a problem, and sounds
pretty lawyer-esque.
Yeah, it's really more lawyer-esque. I mean, the problem is that you are held guilty and you have no recourse to prove your innocence. I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, I would imagine that this law, if it ever got into the books, would probably be one of those things that would be like, okay, we've had you like Typhoid Mary 3 or 4 times, you're done. You're out of here. We're just going to put some hoods on you.
It also gives him the right to put people in quarantine.
Right.
I think a lot of people that's important to have done because of all of the foreigners that come into New York.
Yeah, all them foreigners, man. But yeah. Anyway, also what could be on the horizon is that watch this on January 6th when all the polls come back and you're listening for the Georgia results. Just remember this in the back of your mind, okay? A double CME erupted on January 2nd on the moon. And the NOAA forecaster says there's a chance of a G1 class geometric storm on January 6th. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Flat Earth. Flat Earth. Flat Earth.
How's it going to get flat? What's a geometric storm?
That's a CME, a coronal mass ejection from the sun. Yeah, coronal mass ejection. A G1. It's actually
from the sun, not the moon.
It comes from. I didn't say the moon. I said the sun.
I thought you said the moon.
No, I said the sun.
Sorry.
If we had coronal mass ejections from the moon, holy crap! pretty close, man. Pretty close.
A geometric storm?
Yeah, a geometric storm.
Okay.
Stop me, because Doug, you've mentioned this before,
yeah,
and we have to pay tax, right? We're taxes. We're a country of taxes, right?
That means it'd be a good chance to see the aurora borealis.
Exactly, right? Have you ever seen it from down here?
Not from down here, no. I've seen it up north. I've seen it in Maine.
I think if you get on your tippy toes,
Minnesota.
If you get on your tippy toes, maybe.
Yeah, I've seen it in Connecticut a couple of times.
You
probably have to go to like Portland or Seattle.
I've never even seen it. I hear that up in like the Pacific Northwest, if you get way up there in Seattle or something like that. Every once in a while,
you should be able to see it up there. Probably Vancouver.
Yeah,
I think I've seen it in Vancouver.
Yeah, we were. Have you? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
We were out in the backyard. What was it? New Year's Eve? Yeah, New Year's Eve when we were talking to you guys, and me and we were in that little Zoom party that we were doing. Did you make it all the way to midnight in the room?
No, we cut out. I think probably 10:30, 11.
Yeah,
Abby's laptop battery went dead, and
we cut off about 9. We cut off about 9. Yeah. But me and Angelica were out there with our cell phones with the star map, right? And it just happened that Uranus was right above us. So we were giving Tracy a whole bunch of crap about, hey, we see Uranus up there.
Hey, look, there's Uranus.
Look, there's Uranus.
Hey, Mom, there's Uranus.
It's always a good laugh, especially when we had a good time this weekend out there in the fire pit. Of course, I'm still building
fire pretty good, but couldn't see you guys.
Yeah, I'm still building the fire in the Dutch oven, trying to get all the rust out of it. So I'm almost there. I'm chipping away at it little by little. I'll get it one of these days, but it's got great big pits in the bottom. So
yeah.
I think if I keep doing it the way Cowboy wants me to do it, and season it, and then just never really clean it out, just keep cleaning it out with oil, it'll finally get that sheen to it. But back to the subject that I want to get to before.
Rubbing it with sand.
Salt.
Well, use sand first.
Oh, okay. So you say that we pay taxes because of the reason that we live in a civil society, right? You have to be taxed to live in a civil society.
Well, that's what they came up with as an excuse.
Stop me when you've had enough. Okay, just promise me you'll stop me. Federal tax, state income tax, local income tax, employee social security tax, employee Medicare tax, property taxes, road toll charges, state sales tax, driver's license renewal fee, TV cable satellite fees and taxes, federal telephone surtax, excise tax and universal surcharge, state telephone excise tax and surcharge, telephone minimum usage and non-reoccurring charges tax, gas, electric bill fees and taxes, water, sewer fees and taxes, cigarette tax, alcohol tax, federal gasoline tax, state gasoline tax, local gasoline tax, federal inheritance tax, state inheritance tax, gift tax, bridge toll charges, marriage license, hunting license, fishing license, bicycle licensing fees, dog permit and license, state park permit, watercraft registrations and licensing fees, sports stadium tax, bike nature trail permit, court case filing fees, retirement account early withdrawal penalties, individual health insurance mandate tax, which I think is gone, hotel stay tax, plastic surgery surcharge, soda and fatty food tax, air transportation tax, electronic transmission of tax return fees, passport application and renewal fees, luxury and gas guzzler car taxes, new car surcharge, license plate and car ownership transfer fees. I'm only halfway through this list, man.
Yeah. So why don't you purge that list out of all the ones that were voted for?
Do you think all these ones were voted for by who? By us? By us?
They have to be.
Or by representative? Or by representative?
Well, we put the representatives there, so yes, by us.
So you're all for the gas tax that the government tacked on without just even saying anything to anybody, not even his Senate. I mean, that's one of the ones that was one of the ones that I was really, really, really upset about. I mean, we're still. I think we finally just went over the last one. I think we just had the last hike out of that taxes. So it's a 4-tier tax. We're paying $1.42 in taxes for every gallon of gas that we buy.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible, man.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, you're paying $7.50 tax for every pack of cigarettes you buy. You're paying about $12 tax for every liter of liquor you buy.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's just crazy. So I was listening to some
of those, but not all of them.
Yeah, I listened to. I didn't think you voted for any taxes. I had no idea that you voted for a tax.
Absolutely.
You're fired, Dougie. You're fired, Doug.
Do you read the ballots?
You're fired. Oh, that's it. You're fired.
When you vote, do you read the ballots?
Oh, did you mistakenly vote for a tax?
No.
I rarely vote for a tax. I rarely.
If taxes, if a tax, before I decided that I just vote no on everything, because I, just decided this is too much bullshit. These whatever they call community sponsored bill ballot initiatives or whatever it is they have in this state. I think are fucking insane. I won't ever vote for any of that shit. If a law was made by a petition, I'm not voting for it.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing.
I used to vote yes on anything that would give more funding to schools and more funding to healthcare. Yeah. Well, see, I grew up in a town where taxes went to the school, and I benefited from the good education I got.
Yeah, not here. Not here.
Unfortunately, some people. Yeah, well, when you were a kid, California had one of the best education systems in the world. I don't know why you didn't take advantage of it.
And it wasn't because of taxes. It wasn't because of taxes, and it doesn't matter. And like you said before,
taxes, because that's what pays for school.
It doesn't matter that you're. It doesn't matter that you were wrong. So does.
Do you know?
It's okay if you're wrong.
You know what pays for where taxes go and what pays for schools? Yeah. Yeah. I've told you about the town that I grew up in, and $1,000 a month for property tax for nothing.
Oh my gosh!
Not even a fire department. Well, it all just goes to the schools. And
if I knew where
I thought it was pretty cool that our school had a bigger computer than
I'm telling you right now, dude.
In 1970.
If the government would be transparent enough to let us know where our money went, I would have no problem with taxes. The problem is that it just goes to mostly the bureaucracy, and very little of it trickles down to where it needs to be.
That's what I'm saying. You need to divide your list up into the ones that were voted for, okay, and the ones that just go to support bureaucracy. Like all of those fees, license registration fee, car registration, blah, 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 blah. All of those fees and everything go to pay for the retirement of the people who sat in front of you and treated you like you were a piece of dog crap at the DMV.
And very important that you know that. And very important that you know that those are the people that you're voting into Congress and your state legislatures.
No, I'm not.
So
I'm not. The problem here is the union. Okay, that's all there is to it. The problem is the union.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the union is sticking a broomstick up our butts and spinning us and laughing the whole way to the bank.
Oh, yeah.
They don't give a shit about us or you or where the money comes from or your kids or your kids' kids.
You're right.
Want their money now. I want to be able to have my no mind job sitting at this desk typing a few characters into a keyboard and waiting for a thing to spit out a card that I throw at you.
Mm-hmm.
For 20 years and then retire and get paid for free for the rest of my life.
There you go.
That's all I'm interested in, man. So
there you go.
I don't care how long
you fine. What do you mean you've been on? Oh, by the way,
that's what I don't like.
You filled this out wrong. You need to go over there and refill it out and then stand at the back of the line and I'll see you in an hour and a half.
Yeah, and don't tell me about your problems.
Yeah.
I don't care. Everybody's got problems. All I know is I got 8 years until I can retire at full salary. Yeah. Exactly.
on your dime, and I didn't have to spend and I didn't have to spend
the police department, the fire department,
and I didn't have to spend a dime of my money for my retirement.
Park rangers, the guys who change the tires on the police cars, okay, all of them.
What are you retiring in any public?
We're paying for their health care for the rest of their lives.
Are you retiring in any government money?
No,
me neither. Yeah.
No. And I don't think they should either.
I don't think anybody should. I don't think anybody
should. Job just like yours and mine, and they can have a 401k.
You know, Dougie, that's something me and you agree on, man.
Yeah.
And that's one thing right now is that these public employees that are working for the government and the county, and I don't give a shit about the county hospitals too. Doesn't matter. Teachers, whoever, doesn't matter. You guys need to be in charge of your pensions on your own.
Right.
Okay. I contribute 15 to 20% of my fucking salary every week to be able to put it in my 401k. And luckily my employer matches a portion of it, and then I get profit sharing and stuff like that because I'm a good employee. Okay. And that's what they reward good employees for.
Most companies don't give profit sharing.
I'm not like a state employer or teacher or anybody like that who doesn't even have to put any money into their.
Yeah, well, I don't want to beat up on the teachers too much because they pay.
Well, me neither. Well, me neither. But I mean,
and I don't want to beat up on the police because they have a hard job, but they get paid a lot.
But they get paid a lot. Okay, they get paid a lot, and that's the thing. So they get paid a lot, and they get taxed just like us. But I get taxed.
Oh yeah, and also once you get into that system, you know, like we get ripped off regularly by county employees. I mean, their bosses let them work 4 10-hour days. All right, and have Friday off, and then get paid 2 hours overtime every day because they work 10 hours a day, and you get overtime after 8.
Absolutely.
So you get paid for 6 days working 4.
And they build up their freaking vacation. They never take vacation. So when they're done with vacation, they retire 2 years early. Yeah. And it's just
and also and then they all always give each other giant raises right before they retire because you retire on your last salary.
And exactly. And I just don't understand how that's fair or how that can even be fiscally responsible.
Right. How we can let that happen? How don't we vote for our county government?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So tell me, where does the corruption start?
At the very bottom, at the guy
at the very bottom,
the lug nuts off of the cop car.
At the very bottom. Hey, and if you're looking right now, you can see that I'm wearing a Weathered Soul t-shirt, and you can't have one. The reason why you can't have one is this is actually where the Weathered Souls came from. We were first a band, an actual band. We had a band of guys that used to get together, and we used to, before COVID, we used to do jams and everything, and that's where Bruce the Weathered Soul came from. I just wanted the guys, kind of give you that shirt, and then I put my hat back on here for Plexus because, if you guys want that plant-based supplement,
tag off it, will you?
I don't want to put. I might leave it on there, but the biggest one is the flat build ones. How do I look with the flat build? No, I don't look. I'm not the M&M type.
No, sorry, man.
Liberty Gator again, guys. Anyway, we're butting up against time. It's
really
almost. Yeah, we
time flies when you're having fun, dude.
Like I said, every week me and Dougie get together to do this. You get to sit in on our Zoom call. God, I hope one of these days that we get back together and we're just face to face with each other, microphone to microphone, and spitting on each other from 6 feet away. And I just really miss those times of having Doug, across from me. This is a very different show now, but we appreciate you guys being here on the Weathered Soul Network. You can join the Weathered Soul podcast group on Facebook by just typing the Weathered Soul podcast in that little search engine. You can get us every Monday night. Just subscribe to WLSN, the YouTube channel, and also. Oh, God, here we go. I'm just trying to get through these banners right now. You can listen to the Weathered Soul podcast on your favorite podcatcher. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, a nasty comment, a sad face. Just let us know you're out there breathing. And finally, yours truly, Bruce the Weathered Soul, does a small podcast on every morning called The Morning Drive with Bruce the Weathered Soul. So tune in anytime between 7 and 8 o'clock, and you'll find that on the YouTube network. Also, that's WLSN, the Weathered Soul Liberty Network. And it's time for me to give Dougie a great big
get the hell out of here.
Dougie, we love you, man. Say goodnight, Dougie.
Good night, Dougie.
And this is Bruce, the Weathered Soul, with the Weathered Soul Podcast. And we wish you guys a great week, and we will see you later.
Next week.